Hi there, welcome back. How are you doing? I wish I could hear you. So, we've talked about you making the decision to heal. We talked about the remembering and mourning, like grieving and having our feelings. We talked about needing to believe it happened, like finding a way to stop the guilt and the self blame, the self loathing. And today I'm going to talk about breaking the silence. Breaking the silence is really about you speaking the truth about what happened. And it may sound easy as I'm saying it, but I know it's not easy. And I wish you could have seen me 20 some years ago when I was, for the first few times, trying to utter the words about what had happened to me. And basically my body was really starting to show signs of internal stress, and I was struggling with depression. And a friend of mine suggested that perhaps I needed to go talk to someone because of what had happened to me. I had alluded to having an abusive childhood, but that was about it. And then I found my way to a student therapist, and I could barely speak. And I just started to cry so hard, and I could not look the therapist in the eye. I kept looking away into the floor, and I was just hovering in a corner, shaking and crying so hard that I could barely get the words out. But I did. I managed to tell a few times, and it did get easier, that I was abused by my stepfather my whole childhood. In my home. Pretty much never went to sleep feeling safe in my house. So, breaking that silence, why is it so hard? I know I'm telling secret that I've been fiercely protecting and covering up, like making it into my secret when it never was. But I've like set up my whole life like protecting it. And our bodies were wired for protection and to stay safe. So for me, staying safe was keeping the secret and not telling. That just wasn't an option as a child. So what started to happen once I did find a way, I found a way to talk to a couple of people, and then quickly after got into a support group, was that it was very, very powerful. It was like the catalyst for opening something up wide open. Maybe I wasn't quite prepared for it, and I just want to be honest with you. But back then, I don't think there were as many resources and as many options as there are today, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm sharing this with you, because I want you to know about the wealth of information that's out there and the power of finding people that have already been through the journey, that have restored, that feel they have healed, because I believe we can. So breaking the silence was an incredibly powerful healing force. And then for me to understand that the pain and the hard part about it was because it brought up all this shame, this incredibly powerful feeling that somehow I was broken. There was something wrong with me. Not just that I'd done something bad or like I felt guilty, but no, I was bad. And it's pretty hard to look at someone else when you feel this bad about yourself. And you don't really understand why in the beginning. I didn't. I didn't understand this vile feeling. But it was like this, it felt like hatred towards myself. So, yes, it was hard in the beginning, very hard in the beginning. But over time, I learned to understand the power of shame, but also the power of speaking about it. I found both tools, resources, support, safe place to bring that up, where I wasn't gonna let it hurt me anymore. I was gonna find a way to push it out because this wasn't even my shame. These weren't even my secrets. And it was time to give it back. If you're looking for some information about shame, and I mean, if I'm sure you've heard of Brene Brown, unless you've been under a rock for the last few years, but Brene Brown and her books and research on shame are absolutely incredible. So look them up. They're easy to read, lots of aha moments. I share them a lot in my presentations or when I'm in groups with survivors because we can all relate to what she's sharing. So, the healing journey, the pain of holding on to the past is always greater than letting go. I know it's hard to believe in the beginning, but that holds true for me. That I had worked so hard. I was always Miss Perfect. I was like, oh no, I can do this. I was like, control freak. Could see around corners. Always on top of things. We'll talk more about that later, my coping skills. But it was time to let it go. It was exhausting. I couldn't hold on to it anymore. And so I learned to trust my body. I learned to trust myself. Learned to let that shame go. I don't have it anymore. And it's such a relief. It's such a powerful healing force to tell your story. And if you're looking for ways, support, help to tell your story, to get it out there, move on with your life, please consider joining me. I'm going to be starting up some online groups soon, and I'd love to have you in my groups and support you. Thank you again for listening, and remember, it wasn't your fault. It isn't your fault. It wasn't your fault back then, and not now, and not ever. Together, we're stronger, and together we can heal. Thank you.